We bought a house.
That was weird.
I'm Jess.
And I'm Obie.
And we're Jess&Obie.
Guess what we did? We bought a house. Expensive.
So if you watched our last video, you know that we bought a piece of property that's a little under an acre on a back tax sale. And during that back tax sale, we also bought something else.
Well, if you're not familiar with a back tax sale, a back tax sale is when somebody does not pay their property tax. In some of these cases, somebody passed away and left property and it was not transferred into another's name. The heirs didn't come forward and get it, or they didn't even know existed. So then they put this property up on tax sale after so many years to recoup their money. So that's pretty much what happened.
So in our local county, they had a back tax sale for the years of 2012, 13, and 14. They usually only do 1 year, but because of COVID, they had to put it off and all that.
And there was a lot of properties on the sale.
Yes.
There was, like we talked about in the other video, if you've seen it, there was like 60-something properties.
Mm-hmm.
So it was not a small sale.
We spent a lot of time looking through all the properties that were going to be coming up. Some of them did get redeemed. That means the owner came in and paid the property taxes so that it wouldn't go up on the sale. So some of the properties we were interested in ended up getting paid off before the tax sale. We had narrowed it down to about 7 pieces of property from 60 or 70 pieces. There was a lot. We spent
lot of work.
Hours going through all of the properties, going look at some of the places that we were interested in.
It was funny because there's people at the auction that was not prepared. They're looking at a newspaper. It was pretty funny. And they're like, oh, should I buy that? And they're just bidding on stuff. They didn't even, it was pretty hilarious. They were bidding, kind of like we did on the one piece, but they were buying pretty high pieces for not knowing what they were.
Yeah.
So it was funny to see the other people's reactions. It's like, what do you do?
Like, we were very well prepared, but we weren't sure exactly how the auction was going to go. A lot of the pieces got bid up quite a bit. So out of the 7 pieces of property that we were seriously interested in, 3 of them got paid off before the auction. So we were down to like 4. So as the auction progressed, if you saw the last video, we ended up making a last minute decision to buy something that we had no intention on buying. We ended up buying a close to an acre lot that's about 15 minutes away from us. We went into the auction having no intention of buying that, but it ended up coming up, and we're like, okay, well, if no one else bids on it. So we ended up getting it for $1,100.
37 cents.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Then the auction kept going. We didn't get a couple of the other pieces that we were really interested in. And it came down close to the end of the auction, and there was this one house.
This was on our top of our list.
Yes, we were really interested in the house.
And we did set a top bid of $20,000.
So this was our like cutoff price.
Point.
Like we weren't going to spend more than this because we didn't want to spend more. It came down to this piece, and we were bid against by like 2 or 3 other people, and it kept going up, kept going up, kept going up. So the starting bid on this house was $6,279.11. This price is how much of the back taxes that were owed along with fees that are accumulated, because when you don't pay taxes, each month that goes by there is a fee that is increased so that the taxes keep going up. And then there's also like legal fees and stuff for putting it on auction. So this was the starting bid. This is just what the county needed to get from that property to be able to pay for it. So this was I don't remember what year house. This was a somewhat newer house. I think it was built in the 90s or 80s, late 80s, 90s. It's a split level home, but it looked to be in really rough condition. We went and looked at it, and we weren't sure if there was someone living there, or because it looked like the yard had been kept up, but then it kind of looked vacant. So we weren't sure what was going on with it. So we didn't like look at the house. We just drove up and saw it. Because some of the houses that they were vacant, so we were able to go and walk around it, kind of look in the windows and see them. But this one, we didn't feel comfortable doing that. So it was on a little under an acre lot, and then it had a piece of property that went with it that would be sold separately. That was almost 3 acres. So we knew that if we bought the house, we'd want to get that property with it, just so it would have a larger yard. So we were definitely interested in bidding on that piece as well. And that piece, for the almost 3 acres, the starting bid would be $1,585.62.
So we're bidding, I was bidding it up, And
I was starting to get nervous.
My wife started nudging me. It's too high, and so of course at Common I bid 20,000, and pretty soon it was 25, and she was nudging on me.
I was like, no, don't do it.
I was like, well, I decided in my mind I'll probably go to 30, and sometimes I get a little stubborn. I don't want somebody to beat me out of a bid. So we ended up kept going. People, I was like, I'm not gonna get this. I ended up getting the last bid at 29,300. I don't know if my wife was too impressed at that time, but she warmed up to that deal pretty quick.
I was just nervous because he wasn't stopping at our like 20,000 top bid, and I was just like, oh no. So on the back tax sale, one thing that they do is the owners have, or interested parties have, a year from the time of this sale to come in and redeem the property. So if they pay those taxes off, they'll keep the property. We don't own this property or have the deed for this property until that year's up.
And once the year's up, we'll go in. If they hadn't paid the back tax, we'll get the deed. We'll get the deed put in our names, and the property will be ours, and then we can go and do what we want. But really, right now, if you do anything with it, you probably could get in trouble. Or if you do improvements, if they pay it back, you don't get reimbursed for that. So really, you don't want to do anything with it, unfortunately, until you get the deed put in your name.
Yeah. Since we got the bid on the house, we were going to bid on the piece of property that was attached to it.
It was landlocked.
Yes.
And unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately somebody bid against him.
Yes.
And we were like, seriously?
So it was a piece of property you probably couldn't get a permit to build on. It's flood ground. The river backs up in there. But the problem we wanted is because it would be nice.
It's the yard for the house.
Yes, it would be a nice yard addition to the property there. Having a little bigger piece, better selling point if we decide to sell it after we fix it up.
And unfortunately
they bid me up a couple times, like, what are you doing?
So we ended up buying that piece of property for $5,000, which was more than what we wanted to pay for it, but we really wanted it with the house.
Yeah, we already had bought the other one, so I was like,
we had to have the yard.
And I was like, here we go, another bidding war, but thankfully he only bid me up a couple times. And then he realized that I was wanting it with the house.
About it, yeah.
Maybe he felt sorry for us young couple trying to start out with.
So then after the auction, we went and actually looked at the house. We got out and actually walked around it.
Looked through the windows.
Looked through the
just
windows.
seen kind of the better condition of what it was in.
So it looks like someone has been remodeling it. The house looks pretty much gutted. I'm not sure what's going on. There's a really nice shed in the backyard. There's a really nice,
pretty nice little
good-sized
creek
that runs kind of like a horseshoe around the house. The house is set up on like a little hill, and then the property kind of slopes down, and then there's a nice creek that goes around the house, and it's really pretty.
It is pretty.
But there's some junk. There's like a
couple boats.
There's like some boats.
We have to clean. If we do end up, we have to clean that up.
Yeah, and there's like an old trailer house that doesn't have any walls. It's just like the roof, and the house looks like it's had some.
It's gonna need some work.
Yeah, and some unfortunate DIY projects. So what our plan is for the house, if we do end up getting it, we are thinking about flipping it. If we can remodel it and make it look really nice. If the land prices and housing prices are still really good by the time we get it finished, we would want to just sell it. But if the land prices aren't very good and the housing market's down, then we'll probably just keep it for a long-term rental investment. That's our plan. So we'll see if...
Do we get the house or do we not?
We'll see what happens.
We have a year.
So in total, we paid $29,300 for the house, and then for that back piece of property with it, it was $5,000. That's that.
We spent some money.
We did.
Hopefully it's a good return.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. And of course, you know, if we do end up getting the house, then
we will have some videos for you.
Oh yeah.
Well, I hope you enjoy this video. We will have some more videos. Probably some furniture flipping videos and some mix and match of our life, and so hopefully you enjoy following us too. If you are interested in certain things, comment and say, hey, I'd like to see something, maybe some type of furniture flipped, or just ask some crazy questions. Just throw them out there. Maybe even some financial advice stuff. Maybe we need some. So yeah, leave a comment and we would enjoy, we'll probably read some of those, and we'll enjoy hearing those. Or hearing from you guys. So.
Yes, you can definitely expect to see furniture flips starting back next year.
Which is a week.
I guess it is. I'm taking this rest of the year off to rest a little bit.
A week.
Thank you for watching. And we will see you guys
In the next video. You have a lot of editing to do.
Yeah, I do. Tell me about it.